Hello guys and welcome to this video on Microsoft Azure. In today's video, I'm going to be walking you through the Azure Logic app, which is really useful to streamline business processes. Before we go into the practical side of things, let's understand what is Azure Logic app. It is basically one of the several Microsoft Azure cloud-based services that enable users to create and automate workflows known as Logic apps that integrate apps, data, services, and systems across organizations using a visual designer with minimal or no coding experience, which makes it ideal for streamlining business processes, connecting legacy systems, and orchestrating tasks through pre-built connectors and triggers. In this video, I'm going to show you how we can use the Azure Logic app to copy data in a CSV format from one container to another container within a storage account. Let's get started. Now, the first thing I want to do is to navigate to my resource groups, and then I want to actually launch this my RG resource group. I'm going to click on this create, and it's going to take me to the marketplace, and I'm going to search for Logic app. So I can see the Logic app, so I'm going to give it a click, and then I'm going to click on create. And of course, I'm going to choose my hosting option. So I'm going to go with the default workflow service plan under the standard, and I'm going to click on select. And then under the basics for the create logic app window, of course, these are already populated: the name of the subscription, the name of the resource group, and I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to call this one cornerstone dot azure website.net. That's going to be the logic app name. And let me just change this to one so that it can be unique. Cool. So this is available for me to use, and I'm going to actually position this or provision it in the same UK South region where I'm located. And of course, for the Windows plan UK South, I'm going to maintain all of these defaults. So I'm going to come to the storage, and in the storage, just going to automatically create this my RGA1FB storage account on top of this storage type. So I'm going to click on review plus create, and this is going to be validated. And once this is done, I'm going to click on create. So you can see this is being deployed, and I'm going to wait for some couple of moments, like maybe 2 minutes, for this to deploy, and then we'll continue the video. All right, so the deployment is now completed. So I'm going to click on go to resource, and I can see the cornerstone one logic app created, which is really cool. Now, before we do anything at all in the workflows, it is important that I grant this logic app permission on top of the storage account, which I've already created. So I've got this cornerstone ADLS storage account created. And of course, I'm going to first create my containers before granting the role-based access control. So in here, under the containers, I'm going to click on add container. And I want to call this one input. And this is where I'm going to land my CSV file, the first one, which I'm going to transfer to the output container. So I'm going to call this one output and click on create. So in the inputs, I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to use the upload functionality to upload a single file from a local file. So in this case, I'm uploading this sales 2015.csv into the input container of my storage account, and I'm going to click on upload. And of course, I can click on this to investigate the content by going to the edit, and at the bottom, I'm going to click on the preview so that I can see the number of columns and of course how the data looks like. So basically, I've got the order date, region, subcategory, product, and the sales columns. Excellent. Now that is done. So coming back to granting the permission on top of the storage account, I'm going to actually come back to the storage account, and I want to go to the access control, that is the IM. So click on that, and then I want to add a role assignment, and I'm going to add the data blobs data contributor. So I'm going to set for that under the job function. So just type blob data contributor. So you can see that here, storage blob data contributor, which allows for reading, writing, and deleting access to Azure storage blob containers and data. So I'm going to select this and then click on next. And then I want to actually assign to a manage identity, and I'm going to click on this select members, and then I want to choose the manage the logic app under the manage identity, and I can see the cornerstone one logic app we just created. So I've got two, but this one I just created. Click on this, and this is now populated, and I'm going to click on select, and I can see the object ID, including the type as logic app standard. I can see the name of the logic app that we used not too long, and I'm going to click on review plus create, and I can see just to confirm for the last time, and I'm going to click on review plus assign. So that is review plus assign, and that is done. Now I'm going to come to the role assignment tab just to verify. So when I scroll down to the bottom a little bit, I can see that I've got this cornerstone one manage identity that we just created for the Logic app. Excellent. So this simply means we can come to the Logic app and then we can start our workflows. So as I've mentioned, our goal is to come to my container and I want to actually load a file, which I've done already. So I want to actually transfer this data in the input container to the output container using the Logic app workflows. So I'm going to come back here and then I want to come to the workflows under the workflows here. And then first I'm going to click on this to add a new workflow. And then I'm going to use the stateful, which is optimized for high reliability, ideal for process business, transitional data. And I'm going to give this a name. Let me just call this one data movement. And once I'm done, I'm going to click on create at the bottom and this workflow is now going to be created. I'm going to click on this refresh and I'm going to see that in a matter of seconds. Excellent. So click on that and then we want to go ahead and implement the workflow using the designer, which is just all about dragging and dropping. So I'm going to click on this add a trigger and then in this case, I want to search for when a blob is added or updated. So I'm going to type that here, when a blob. I think that's enough. And let me see the results. So I can see that trigger here, when a blob is added or updated under the Azure blob storage. Now, don't worry, even my storage account is ADLS Gen 2, of course, which is built on the Azure blob storage anyway. So that's fine. So I'm going to select that. And I can see the option to create my connection. So I'm going to give this, let me just move this a little bit. So I'm going to give this a nice name. I can just maintain this name just because of time. And then for the account type, I'm going to click on this. And then I want to choose the manage identity that we granted from the blob storage account. And then for the account storage account endpoint string, I'm going to come back here and this is my storage account. And I want to set for the endpoint. So click on endpoints. And then I want to go to the blob service and I basically need this primary endpoint, that's the blob service. So I want to copy this and this must include the name of the storage account .blob.core.windows.net. And I want to come back here and I'm going to, in this box, I'm going to paste and I'm going to click on create new. Okay, so that's created. Now under the parameters, I need the blob path. So for the blob path, again, I can just, make it a fully qualified name. I'm going to copy this again and I can just, paste this and now we have the /. So I'm going to just type in input, which is the name of the container that's holding my file. And that's what I need to do for the when a blob is added or updated. So I'm going to click at the bottom and then we want to add an action. And this is going to be to get the blob content using the path version 2. So I'm going to type get blob content. And I think that should be enough. And we should see that so we can see we can use this get blob content v2. We can also use this using path. So I'm going to elect to use this. And let me move this to the left a little bit. And then we also need to do the configuration. So basically we need the name of the storage account or the blob endpoint. So anyone is fine. I'm going to elect to use the name of the storage account, which is what I can see at the top here. So click on this, or let me just clear this. Okay, yeah. Click on this and I want to come back here and click on enter custom value and paste. Now I can see I've got this trailing space, so I need to actually get this out in order to be able to access the blob path. So when I click on this now, I can see the input and the output containers, and of course I want to point to the output that contains the sales 2015.csv, and I can see the blob path automatically populated. And that's all I need to do for this stage. I can also see at the bottom that the manage identity system assigned manage identity is being used based on the authorization we granted on top of the storage account. And I'm going to, for the last time, click on this add action. Now we want to add the create blob action. And this is going to be coming from the Azure blob storage also. So click on create blob version 2. And for, again, I'm going to do something similar. I need the name of the storage account. So I can copy that again. And I'm going to paste here, again, get rid of that trailing space. And then for the folder path, I want to land the data in the output container. And for the name of the blob, I can just call this one sales data. And for the content blob content, I'm going to now use the enter the data from the previous steps, that is from this get blob content using path. So click on this turbo sign and I can see get blob content using path. That's the intermediate step at the top, and I want to get the file content. So click on this, and that's all I need to do. Again, when I scroll to the bottom again, I can see that the managed identity SAMI is being used. Excellent. So this is all I need to do for the designer workflow, and I'm going to click out and I can click on the save. Now I can just go ahead and click on the run to just see how it works. Now before I click on the run, I'm going to quickly come back here for the last time, come to my containers, and when I go to the output, you can see I do not have any file. Excellent. So come back here and click on run and start running the Logic app, and I'm going to wait for some couple of moments. So if this succeeds, we should be able to have a copy of the data from the input folder copied into the output container of my storage account. So this succeeded, and I can come back here and I can give this a refresh, and when I refresh, bam, we have the sales underscore data in here, and I can click on that. I can click on this edit and I can see the content. Excellent. So this is how we can use the Azure Logic app to copy data from one container to another container within the same storage account. I trust you enjoyed this video. If you do, like, comment, share, and follow me for more videos because there's a lot to come. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. Cheers.